Thanks for tuning in today. I'm John Holmes with Holmes Hobbies. Do you have any rigs that are just so fun that maybe they're not as capable, but you always want to play with them? Today, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I've got this custom K5 Blazer that I've had for about a decade, and although it is not a performer, it is one of my favorite rigs to drive. So that's what we're going to do. So I wanted to show you how these rigs compare. This is an old K5 Blazer that I picked up in trade. I believe the kid's name was Looney Bin from RC Crawler back in about 2010, maybe 2011. I only know this because I traded the Savage E-Flux or whatever they called it at the time from HPI, essentially the electric Savage that they had just come out with, for this guy. Because that's what he wanted and this is what I wanted. So when I saw this custom built rig up for trade, I just immediately jumped on it. And this has been one of the most fun rigs that I have had in my entire stable the entire time. And it's not super capable, but it's really fun to drive because of that. And I've talked about that in my channel a good bit, about sometimes too capable of a rig isn't always fun to drive. So that's really what this rig is about. And we'll get into more details on that here in a second, but I wanted to show you how it compares to a modern rig of today. So size-wise, you can tell it's actually a little bit smaller. It is a 1.9 scale rig, but this was built back in the day when 1.9 rigs were actually smaller. And here we can compare it to the CC01. It's got, you know, a pretty similar wheelbase to it. As you can see, huge difference in the enduro on that. And just generally isn't built for performance. It's built for looks, it's built for fun, and built for having things like, you know, scale things opening and closing. But like I said, a little bit smaller than a modern scale rig. You know, even the width is smaller. It is built off of the original AX10 transmission and axles. I believe it does have an SCX10 rail set on here. Kind of hard to see. I'll show you more in a minute here, but as you can see, it's just, you know, it's a tiny rig. It's really fun to drive. And so we'll set this aside for a second. And let's take a look at this guy. So we've got ourselves a scale operating tailgate with magnetic closure. Has the old spare tire mount built into it. Just, you know, got a knockoff on there. Interior roll cage and bed thing, hoop. If there's a name for it, let me know in the comments. Leaf sprung on the rear. Yes, sir. This is not about performance. You get up to an object and it starts hopping. I love it. But on the front, we have, maybe you can see it at that angle, we have the, I guess it would be called, what, struts and springs, maybe? So we got the hydraulic dampers that are outside of the springs, and it's got the spring purchase made. And all this work was handcrafted by Looney Bin. If anybody knows him down in Georgia, give him a holler for me. Maybe we can reconnect. He built this when he was like 18 years old, which is just nothing flat of amazing. We got full, well, that's plastic right there. That's the one piece of plastic, I suppose. But everything else is soldered brass for the most part. It's the spring perches are metal. All of, you know, this pan down here is metal. There's just so much detail work. All this front end is soldered brass on there. Even have light buckets, which I haven't thrown lights into yet. But we've got a full functioning hood on there, which is made out of metal, and then a Lexan body on top of all of that. Functioning doors on there. Pretty cool. It's just an extremely fun rig. And at the last expo that I went to, the Truck Expo, Scale Truck Expo down in Florida this year, I was fortunate enough to get some help in updating this guy because it was so old that the drive shafts were actually just like a one-side set screw. It didn't even have cross pins in it. This transmission just had flat shafts coming out that didn't have cross pin holes, and super tough to keep that from popping drive shafts all the time. So Adam Duckett, big shout out to Adam Duckett. Thank you for helping me get this rig back in action and with some updated drivetrain parts. As you can see, it also has this really cool traction bar on there, or anti-wrap bar, I guess it would be, which keeps the rear axle from wrapping, essentially, when you have a torque load on it, because that'll break your leaf springs. So this little red bar is pretty key to this suspension design. It doesn't limit the articulation at all. Not that the rig has much articulation, but it's just, man, it's just such a cool little rig that is super dusty. I don't treat it very nicely. It's even got little what are these called? Like, oh crap bars. Just so many little details. I love this rig. So we're gonna go out and we're gonna drive it. Running through some of the more modern parts that I have on here. The motor is a Crawlmaster Pro, an 11-turn motor. This is actually the very first 11-turn that I ever wound just to see how it would perform. And we have a modern Helios Rc battery in there, a little 2-cell, because this thing was built so far back that not everybody was actually running 3-cell LiPo. Not everybody listens to the volt up, gear down, and way back when, the 3 cells were actually thin enough that I could just barely cram one in there. And these days the 3 cells are all higher discharge rate or a higher capacity, and they don't fit. So I'm actually running a 2-cell LiPo, the only rig that I run on 2-cell LiPo ever. Yeah, I forget which model this is from Helios, probably like a 2200 pack or something like that. Let me just see if I can yank it out for you. It fits. It's so tiny, but it still runs forever. Yeah, a little 2000 milliamp hour guy. It's so cute. Look how tiny it is. Just a little lightweight guy. Nothing says quality like a metal battery tray, too. That's exactly what I always shoot for. All right, there we go. There we go, all tucked in. We also have updated tires and rims. These are the Hustler MTXs from Boom Racing. Really nice, sticky feeling tires. I believe I'm running the stock foams in them for now. And then the rims, I don't know what these rims are. Sorry guys, they look pretty cool though. Maybe y'all know what the rims these are. Let me know in the comments. I think that's about enough talking about this rig, so let's go out and enjoy some playtime.
Dang it, Martha, I told you to check the batteries before we went out. As you can see, we have nice and loose hips. This is some guy I got from Walmart a long time ago. No clue who he is. Can y'all tell me? Some Suzuki rider, number 99. Oh, 199, that's why I couldn't figure it out. Oh, it's Pastrana. Hey Pastrana, are you done with your supercross riding and you want to go wheeling your truck for a while? Yes, sir. I love it. I broke my face. All right, I'm gonna have to help Pastrana because now evidently he broke his face. So I'll just tuck him in there. Let's see if his hips actually work enough to get in. Jeez, Pastrana, you're like a wet noodle. Just hand on the steering wheel. Just do something. I don't know if I can grip that steering wheel without breaking it. So we're just gonna close him in here and hopefully he buckles in and doesn't get wrecked. Oh wait, he can probably grab the oh crap handle. Yes, playing with toys. This is definitely, legitimately playing with toys. But these are definitely not for children. Obviously. I mean, I had to take a Dremel to his hips, so that is not for children. All right, Pastrana, let's go. What happened to Martha, though? What'd you do? You kicked her out? So let me know, does Pastrana have a redneck voice like me, or does he sound like Mickey Mouse? Dang it, Martha. I told you to put the lighter fluid in with all of our charcoal, and I ain't seeing it in the back. I'm gonna have to drop you off for a while and go get some. I tell you to go get it, but you can't wheel my rig. I don't trust you. So, Pastrana definitely has a redneck voice today. But maybe he's not a wife beater either, so maybe I should go back to the Mickey Mouse voice. Thanks, Martha. Really appreciate you coming on the ride with me today. It's so fun having you here. I definitely love it when you join me on the trail. That way I can hear how fun it is by your screams. I took my wife wheeling to the farm this past weekend in the Subaru. Just, you know, some mud and dirt action, nothing crazy. And the kids were begging to go fast. So I punched the throttle, you know, just kept it locked in first gear and did a hot lap around the farm creek bed. And my wife she was not very pleased. It was pretty funny. The kids, of course, were just like screaming fun. They were enjoying it. It was a good time. It was a good time. Not nearly as good of a time as this is going to be when we fall off the rock. But that's Travis's fault. So Travis, what do you think of this K5 Blazer? I think it's pretty fun. I mean, I don't really like the leaf springs as far as having good suspension action, but I guess I'll take it. Oh yeah, you getting it caught in the rocks there, Pastrana? Oh no. Oh yeah. We're gonna get our way out. We got a modern drivetrain, so we just get through it. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, Travis isn't done. Let's see if Travis can get us out of this without hand of God. A little bit of wheel speed. Nope. I don't think this is gonna work out for us, Travis. Nope. By the power invested in me by the state of Missouri, I declare you rolled. Yeah, all right. Well, Travis isn't quite done. He says that he wants to go up this rock waterfall and that he is definitely confident in his capabilities of driving up this. Any other rig in the stable, this would not be an issue at all, but this is actually pretty tough for this rig. Yeah, I'd say this old Crawlmaster's not doing too shabby. 11 turn. It's honestly too fast. I would prefer to be running 3-cell with like a 16 turn in this or a 20 turn. I scale slow speed. But, you know, it is what it is. It's already put together. It's already got electronics. So, I'm just running it. Yeah, get some of that scale leaf spring hopping action. It's gonna grip one of these bounces. And that is why I love this rig. It is just the most bouncy, uncapable, POS fun rig to drive. And on top of that, nobody else has one. This is a custom rig that only I have, which I just love having pieces of history that are not only unique, but that will probably never be done or available again. You know, like buying rigs from UC Fab whenever they come up. Just incredible chassis builder, really good suspension geometry, and it's really a piece of history to be able to own one of those guys. Now, I don't drive my UC Fab rigs hardly at all because I just, they're not shelf queens, but I'll take out something that's, you know, ready to run and just beat on it, and I don't feel bad. But rigs like this, I do actually tend to drive a little bit softer because I don't want to really be breaking them. It's fun to break rigs sometimes and figure out the capabilities of the drivetrain and the electronics, but that's not what I'm out here today doing. I'm just out here having some fun, letting Travis Pastrana do a little something different. Because normally he'd be wore out from motocrossing or supercrossing all day. I don't even know what he rides. Maybe y'all tell me in the comments, because I'm obviously not well read enough on who Pastrana is. Geez, guys, give me a break. I make motors for a living, not motocross parts. Supercross parts? I don't know. Oh, Pastrana's having fun. That sounded great.
Tell you what you need, Pastrana, is a little wheel bump of speed to get past that rock. Okay. Well, that didn't work out so well for me. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Good driving, Pastrana. Well, until you hit that rock with your differential, you gotta be a little more careful about that. You know, this isn't a portal axle rig. Oh, you're just gonna slide right over? Oh, old plastic housings, you say? Nobody cares about old AX10 plastic housings. Yes. Oh, so nervous about the off camber. And it's hardly even off camber. Is it gonna make it? Is it gonna flip? Oh, I think we got it. If that rear tire doesn't kick up too high. Oh, yes. All right. Now we're gonna go on a hard line. Let's see if we can make it. After we get unstuck from these rocks that we just drove right over. Yeah, see, all these modern rigs really give you a false sense of confidence on what a rig should be capable of. So driving something like this, it's just so scale. And Pastrana looks like he's about ready to pass out inside there. He's just barely holding on. This teaches a lot more skill of driving to have a rig that's just not overly capable. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been on this one same little bitty pile of rocks that's just literally a pile of riprap for what, like 10 minutes now, and I'm having more fun with this than I do on the more technical rocks on the other side of the yard. All right, you're gonna have to reverse. Oh, Pastrana, good job. It's almost like he's a professional driver. Seems like he did some sort of like drift driving or something like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, you better hold on, Pastrami. You better hold on, Pastrami. Now, the transfer case on this rig does not slide. It is a big old hanger. You like big old hangers? Maybe I can get a little rocking action here. We'll get off of it. Because evidently Martha walked away. She was done with being verbally abused by her husband. So she said, screw it. So now she's not gonna be able to help us get over this with the pry bar. Oh yeah, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this. Oh, we got it. That was not scale driving at all. Oh yeah. Like I said, what a fun rig. I love comp rigs. I love scale rigs. I love them all, but something about a truly incapable rig just brings the fun out in driving. And again, as I've said before, I'm all about driving. Not always about making it as easy as possible to drive, but having fun actually driving and having to plan the rig and throttle control, that's all really part of it. And this is, oh, that's a big mess back there, a bunch of vines and tangles. And honestly, I can keep driving. I can keep driving a lot longer than this video needs to go. So I think we should probably call it good. If you do have any questions about this rig, or, you know, questions in life about where babies come from, or any of those tough questions that you just may have, leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. And otherwise, I'm going to keep driving, and you have a good day.